Hi everyone, welcome to Class 9 of Map Painting and Digital Environments. Today we're going to be basically looking at the project shot, and I'm going to set up the projections. Last week we looked at the model, and I'm going to not be doing any more modeling today. Really, it's just a day of dealing with the map painting toolkit, setting it all up, and then starting texturing and working out what's going to work. So let's dive right into it. Last week we looked at the model and did some of the profile modeling in Modo, and I'm still not, I'm not finished the modeling, but I'm kind of treating this like, like a production environment where, you may need the compositors, or someone may need the shot to start comping with, so you may not have a chance to finish all your modeling before you need to start actually doing some map painting. So, the things like the railings up here in the terrace, I was going to do anyway with a shader, just because it's quick and you don't need any displacements or anything. So there's certain parts on the sign and stuff that they're kind of secondary, I guess. Just add-ons that it doesn't matter if we do them afterwards because they're not going to change anything. So as long as you get the base done, it doesn't really matter. That's enough for at least for compers, or for the director to see how it's going. So anyway, so this is the model. So last week in Modo, I basically sent out the model from Modo back to Maya, just as an OBJ. Now, the two things, there's a couple of things to watch for going back and forward like this. Scale is one of them. Now, it's kind of not necessarily that important at the moment in this particular instance, but usually it's a really good idea to keep your scale obviously the same. And one thing I haven't mentioned so far at all, which I keep forgetting to, is just with cameras going back and forward, just make sure that your film backs are all the same size. It can easily slip. Not slip, but you can easily, if you miss it, it'd be a reason that your projections won't fit. So you may use a rig or something that for your moving camera, and then that rig won't. If you don't duplicate that and you just create a new camera and it has the default settings, your film gate or your aperture will be different, or could be different, and that will affect your projections. It won't work. So just a little gotcha, I guess, that I've had in the past. So this is the model. Like I said, we've done some of the modeling in Modo. I sent it back to Maya to do the camera move. So looking at our moving camera, this is kind of basically where the camera is at. Now it's not too different to where I was. I want to add kind of a bit more speed ramping, and a bit more camera jiggle, I guess, like you would on a crane or a jib. But that doesn't affect our projections. So what we're going to look at today is basically setting up our projections using the Map Painting Toolkit. So I've brought the model back in, and I'm going to just go through, I guess, the stages, and just try and make it as clear as possible in setting up the projections for this shot for that particular camera move. So I'm just calling these stages. So this is stage 1. We take our camera at frame 1, and we just duplicate it. So what I've done that already, and so we have, if I change, that's our moving camera. If I change cameras to stage 1 and call that primary projection, that's there. So what I did was, based on that, I assigned an ambient occlusion shader, just a simple surface shader. I'll just show you. It's got the Project Mix on it. Right, so yeah, okay, so I assigned a surface shader. I'll just do it again just so you guys can, just in case you need to know. Surface shader, out color, and then just choose mental ray and MIB occlusion. And I just do it at 32. I mean, it's really just a placeholder, so it doesn't matter quality-wise. So anyway, so I rendered out. You don't need to use ambient occlusion. I mean, you could just use a diffuse pass, but you know, to me, occlusion doesn't. It gives you an indication of what things look like, and it doesn't take that long on single frames. Because what the idea is that, you know, basically you render out the occlusion, and then reassign that as a projection to your model. So what I've done is I've rendered out stage 1. So you can see that's just an ambient occlusion, and that's the projection. So there's a single. Let's go back so you can see the setup. So it's got a surface shader on it. We go to the out color, and it has the GS ProjCam mix, which was created through the functions in the shelf. And I just basically chose my first primary projection, hit the cam button, and assigned my rendered ambient occlusion of my first frame. So that basically looks like that. So you can see the file coming in. Go view that. It's called Stage 1 Primary Proj. Now I rendered these at 2K, which doesn't take that long to do, so you know it's worth doing. You know, it just shows you, you know, all the crevices and shadows, and yeah, so it's just a nice detailed render and good, I guess, test. So yeah, so this is a single cam setup of assigned to a surface shader, and then back to there. As I said, that's kind of, so, you know, so you render the camera move, which is obviously very quick because it's only one projection. You can see all the problems. So, you know, the main one being the projection doesn't cover what's seen once the camera moves out a bit, but also, obviously, all these kind of stretching, and obviously that's completely occluded by the first camera, so you never see any of that. So, on to the beauty of the matte painting toolkit. If we open, so basically I just went through and created these stages, and it's just so I could rebuild them for you and show you, I guess, how to do it. So, and I'm going to provide you with all these files so you can pull them apart. Now, so based on the first one, we have the moving camera shot. Go to stage 1. Sorry, wrong one. Go to primary projection, which is here. And then what I've done is gone and created another one as a patch. Now, what I went and did was go back to the moving camera, knowing that we're missing a whole lot of stuff. I kind of did it from around there, and I pulled the camera back. If we look at the camera, primary proj, and then patch is there. So you can see it's, as I said, towards the end of the shot, and pulled back so you can see that face of the building. You see a whole lot more of the stuff. So what I did, again, I just then rendered a single frame with an ambient occlusion surface shader of that frame, and created a new version of a ProjCam mix, incorporating, using the shadow trick. What do you call it? The JS shadow node. So I'll show you the quick time, and then I'll explain. So stage 2. So we've got our first primary projection, and what I did was I actually changed the color of the ambient occlusion on the patch cam to red, so you could see how it works basically. So I've done no dilating and no blending, but you can see what gets revealed immediately and what gets patched by the second camera, if that makes sense. So that whole side of the building, all this stuff, all the stuff that was black because it was not seen from here. So, and yes, you can do, like I said, I guess in the alleyway thing I did, where you can pull back a bit and include more of that in your first primary. But yeah, it's not what I did with this one.